Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Fellowship in beautiful Carrollton, Texas. It is DCTF Live, an internet show that's just fallen apart. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on iTunes. And please rate it and comment if you like it, because that really does help other people find our podcast. I found that out yesterday because I found my own podcast. But anyway.
Interesting.
I found a podcast that I want to recommend tomorrow. In any case, I'm sitting here. Sitting over there is Max Thompson.
This is what happens when you leave for a day, man.
You will
it
notice
just all falls apart.
You will notice, friends, that we are not on live stream today. We are on YouTube, which is not bad. It's not bad per se. You should have there's no reason you should be affected in any way. No. But there was a mad scramble about 2 minutes ago. That's why we're both out of breath.
Yeah.
Today is Thursday, October 13th, 2016, episode 222. 222 is the number of plate appearances for J.P. Arencibia in his illustrious Texas Rangers career. How about that?
Jerk.
JPA. A little bit later, about 12:15, we will be joined by the head coach of the 7-0 Alief Taylor Lions. They are rolling. Coach Brian Randle will join us. A very intense man. Very.
He just looks like it.
He just looks like it.
He
may
like
come on and be like,
pound
"Hey
us
guys,
both."
how you doing?"
Yeah.
I've actually never spoken. I've never talked with Brian Randle.
Also, the photo that the school used for his introduction as the head coach is maybe the most impressive photo of any coach I've ever seen.
Quite terrifying.
It's a hell of a three-piece suit.
It really is. It really is. And in a moment, we're going to preview the Thursday night action across the Lone Star State. A couple of really intriguing games I want to get into.
It's been a few weeks since we've had more than one.
Yeah, it's kind of, these things tend to come and go, but right now, it's a nice week. So
did you see? Speaking of Thursday night games, did you see in our Slack chat that our friend Robbie Copeland out at New Diana, he's giving Step grief, saying I need to come out there because they got a Thursday game next week.
Well,
just 2.5 hours skip, hopping, and jumping away.
Yeah. So, yesterday, let me tell you about driving, okay?
That's way closer than Diana.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Georgetown?
Yes.
Georgetown.
Yes.
You know what? Let's settle this. We're going to do that. We'll do it from our office.
You can go the interstate the whole way there.
We're going to do the office. Okay? So, I'm not going to give out our office's address, but I'm going to do it. So, we're going to do this we'll just do it to Georgetown proper, okay? We fair with that?
Sure.
This says that it is 185 miles.
Okay.
3 hours. Okay?
There's no way it's 3 hours.
That's what it says. That's
I'm
what Google Maps says.
It's never taken me 3 hours to get to Georgetown from here.
New Diana, Texas, 146 miles, 2 hours and 20 minutes. You get to be on 20 a long time. You're on 20 until you get past Tyler.
I don't want to hear it.
I think you need to go out there and see our friend Robbie.
I'll go if you'll go.
Next Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call your bluff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll call your bluff.
All right, so we're going out to Diana, Texas next Thursday?
Yeah.
All right, you heard it here, Coach Copeland. First,
Yeah.
Greg Tepper is promising that we'll both be at your football game next Thursday.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I think I have to cancel a date with my wife now.
Well,
but that's what
I
happens.
hope it's worth calling my bluff, buddy.
It really, really is. So
she can come with us.
She can come with us. So tomorrow, yesterday we did not have a show. You may have noticed. Longtime friends of DCTF Live. If you didn't notice, come on, man. Come on, we're doing the show for you.
Yeah.
But I had something to take care of. I drove down to Georgetown. Drove down to Georgetown. It was the funeral. We mentioned this earlier in the show, earlier in the week. That our good friend Craig Way's wife passed away last weekend. She had been battling cancer courageously for
long time,
almost 6 years, and so it was it was the kind of thing that I think everybody kind of saw coming. It was throat cancer, and she finally succumbed to it last weekend. So it was important for me to. I never met Lori Way, but I felt that it was important to go down there. Craig is a buddy of ours. He's a good dude, and he's a
very good dude.
A jewel for Texas high school football. And football in general. And so I thought it was important that I was down there just to support and show my support and stuff like that. So I drove down there to Georgetown yesterday. That's why I wasn't there. Let me tell you, though, you want to talk about a life well lived? If you've got a funeral, if you have a memorial service that has as many laughs, and
nice.
I'm not talking like the kind of like church laugh where like the pastor cracks you up.
Yeah.
I'm talking straight up belly laughs from the crowd.
That's the way to go.
I think that's everyone's goal in life,
Absolutely.
right? And that
No
was the most I have ever heard laughter at a memorial service, which is really, really great. Saw Craig afterwards, and he's doing okay. He's doing okay. But I do want to mention, take an opportunity. I think we've got the link at the bottom.
Yep.
They, in lieu of flowers, anything like that, they're asking for donations to the Lori Way Memorial Fund. She was very, very passionate about her church in Cedar Park. It's the Good News United Methodist Church. And so you can go to goodnewsumc.org/give, and you can donate to the Lori Way Memorial Fund if you'd like to help the cause and help remember a lady who's certainly touched a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And four great kids there, and a grandson who is already huge. Grandson who I think was born. He was born last year.
Yeah.
And
big kid.
Oh my gosh, Mom was holding him. I'm like, is that a sack of flour? It's a huge baby. But say a prayer, hold a thought, donate to goodnewsumc.org/give to help out our buddy Craig Way and all that fun stuff. So there's that. Don't want to bring down the room. We are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Max, we mentioned it off the top. We actually have a relatively quality slate of games.
Yeah.
And you and I will be at a game next week.
Apparently we will. We will.
I'm going to keep this going.
That's fine.
I'm going to make your life hell.
That's fine. If we don't go, I'm blaming it on you.
That's fine.
That's fine.
So what, you would not even consider going by yourself?
Oh, no, I would. But now you've promised to go. So if you can't go, then I can't go. I would just feel bad.
What a jerk you are.
Oh, I'm a jerk now?
Yeah.
You're the jerk.
Robbie Copeland, I appreciate you.
Whatever.
I think you're doing great work out there at New Diana, and I'd love to see your game.
Maybe we get the boss to foot the bill for the flight out there to Longview. You can fly to Longview from DFW.
You cannot.
I looked it up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. About $300 a pop.
What? No.
Yeah.
We are not flying to Longview. That goes against everything, every fiber of my body. We will drive. All right, so let's get into the Thursday action tonight. There is one game in the Houston area that may or may not be on your radar. But the Woodlands has got a lot of hype, right? And they are ranked. They're a top 10 team in the state. I think they're number 6 in our 6A rankings at TexasFootball.com/rankings.
Yes or no? Most impressive resume in 6A.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think there's really a doubt. The only team that I think would have an argument would be DeSoto. And
right. They've had one close game.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Now, it's Midland.
Good team.
It's Midland, who's a good team,
Good
but
team.
still. I would say the
game.
Woodlands, yes.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, they have the most impressive resume. They've got wins over George Ranch. They've got wins over Katy. They've got wins over Lufkin. This is a Highlanders team that is roaring right now. They put up 63 points in each of their first district games. Well, now they're taking on a squad in Conroe, Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge is kind of the fly in the ointment for them. They're the crosstown rival. They are 2-1 in district play. They've beaten College Park and Conroe. I don't know if Oak Ridge has beaten a quality team, at least in district play. Well, here's your opportunity.
Yeah,
Oak
fair
Ridge.
argument.
You want to turn heads across the Lone Star State? Go beat the Woodlands tonight. You do that, and you've got our attention. But
the
Woodlands will enter this game as a favorite. I expect them to win, but this is a game worth keeping on. Just if anything, because it's a rivalry game, and wacky things happen in rivalry games. Speaking of wacky things, last week. I don't know if you remember this, but it actually on Tuesday we talked with a coach. His name was Travis Pride. He's the coach of
this is not
Byron
ringing a bell.
Nelson.
No.
Because his Bobcats
Byron Nelson.
beat Euless Trinity.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
No
The
kidding.
winless Bobcats.
Well, but they hadn't won a game?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They hadn't won a game, and they beat Eels Trinity.
I had not
Well,
heard this.
now, here's the bounce back. And if you are a believer in the hangover effect, and you are a believer in a team losing confidence and that being a big thing, that's about to be tested big time. They're playing LD Bell. Eels Trinity is playing LD Bell tonight. They're at
Pennington.
Pennington. Thank you very much. Pennington Field.
Well, if you can't get up for your arch rival.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Is that Bell's 2-4. They're 0-3 in district.
Right.
I don't think this is a great team. Okay, this is a team that most Trinity teams would just
This is
go.
Trinity's little brother.
Yes, this is Trinity's little brother. But one, Bell has got to be feeling. You know what?
We got a shot.
Just throw our haymaker.
Yeah.
Let's load up and
No
just
question.
throw our one punch, and it may not land, but we're going to throw it.
That's
They're
what you
gonna
got to be thinking
They're
over
going to
there.
get everything
Yeah.
they got. And
Absolutely.
Trinity, you got to wonder where their head's at.
Sure.
They've had a whole week of hearing about how in the world do you lose to a winless Byron Nelson team.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. That's been ringing through their head all week.
Right.
And so if you're a believer in that kind of
Sure.
thing, then maybe this game gets interesting. Again, I still believe that quality wins out, and I think Trinity is a better team than Bell. But a game to keep an eye on there in the mid-cities of the DFW area.
For sure.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl. Also, El Paso Franklin and El Paso El Dorado are playing.
No, congratulations on your joke. It's great.
You missed me yesterday, didn't you?
I did not.
You missed
It
me
was
so much.
nice.
These are two teams that are playoff bound. They are going into they're heading into the playoffs almost certainly. It would be pretty surprising if they didn't make it. But I will say that this game looks like it is for seeding. Okay, both these teams in our projections, I don't have the enrollments in front of us, but I know that in our projections, which are going up on TexasFootball.com today, they're both going to the Division I.
Right.
And so what does that mean? The winner of this game probably draws a team like Midland Lee in the first round.
Ooh.
Not a pushover,
But it's a
but
figuring out where you're playing and
you're probably playing Midland Lee in the first round. Not a pushover, but a game that I think the El Paso team would be favored to win. The loser probably gets Midland. And you're going, and remember, in 6A, here's the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Here's the bigger thing. In 6A, you get home field advantage.
Right.
So the winner of this gets to have a team probably from Midland in our projections drive all the way out to El Paso.
Yep.
The loser of this game probably has to drive all the way to
Midland.
Midland. And if you want to know, if you're saying, "Oh, Greg, it can't be that," it can't be
so far.
It can't be that far.
So
That
far.
is a 4-hour and 25-minute drive.
That's a 5.5 hour drive in a bus.
That is 300 miles each way.
Oh God.
Okay? So there's a lot on the line in this game. Yeah. There's a lot on the line between El Paso Franklin and El Paso El Dorado as far as the actual matchup is concerned. I'm interested to see what El Paso El Dorado's offense is able to do. El Dorado, of course, they beat off Eastwood, but then last week when they lost to Montwood, really kind of shook things up.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder where their heads are at. Franklin lost to Montwood as well, but they've got 2 wins. This is a critical game in District 1 6A. So keep an eye on that. In the Houston area, Brazoswood takes on George Ranch.
George Ranch is on the ropes, man. They got to win this.
They sure are. They lost their first district game of the year when they lost to Pearland Dawson. George Ranch needs a win tonight to give themselves, I think, some breathing room in that district to ensure that they make the 6A playoffs.
Yeah, they need room.
They really do, because right now they're kind of on that razor's edge. I still think they're a playoff team.
I think so too.
But if you drop this game to Brazoswood, then all of a sudden things get super, super tricky for them. And in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we mentioned this last week with Sunnyvale and Dallas-Madison was a battle of unbeaten.
Right.
Sunnyvale kind of, I think, stepped up, and they'll still have a game with Grandview, but I think they've emerged as the best team in that district.
Right.
Well, now, this is a really deep district. And now 2 of those really quality teams, I think maybe surprise teams, have risen to the top.
Yeah.
You've got Dallas-Madison taking on Kemp.
Yep.
Kemp drew their first loss of the year last week, but with a loss to Grandview. But it was a very close game. They played them very tight. Meanwhile, Sunnyvale coming off that loss Madison coming off that loss to Sunnyvale. Yeah. These 2 teams both reeling, both want to get off the right back on the right track. Again, I think that I think the 4 playoff teams in this district are set: Madison, Kemp, Sunnyvale, and Grandview. But here's a perfect example of seeding.
I think the last big game that I think Kemp is probably the last tough game for Sunnyvale.
Probably.
Yeah, they've already beaten Grandview. They've already beaten Madison.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think at this point, Kemp's... And that'll be the last one. That'll be the one to close out districts. So it'll be interesting.
But I will say that if you start looking at the way that this Region 2 is going to shake out in 3A Division 1, let's take a look. Come on, Greg. You clicked on the wrong link. If you start looking at this, then... So the winner of this district is probably going to draw a team like Howe. Okay, first of all, District 5 is not no pushover. Yeah. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the loser of this game finishes 4th in district.
Sure.
For the sake of argument. That means you're playing Pottsboro in the first round.
Right.
Do you want that?
Not really.
Or do you want to play a team like Whitesboro or a team like Pilot Point or maybe a team like Howe? I mean, there are major playoff implications as the shuffling begins.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on those games across the state. Read Mike Craven's outstanding article on TexasFootball.com right now for a complete preview of this kind of stuff. We are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. All right, tomorrow we'll have our 1-hour super show previewing everything in the state. Do we have our guest picker lined up?
She should be.
Yeah. Okay, we'll reveal that tomorrow. As well as TexasFootball.com/preview. It is going up shortly. I got to wait till the show is over, and then TexasFootball.com/preview will be updated with the complete, ludicrous Week 8 Texas High School football preview. It's the biggest, stupidest preview you've ever seen anywhere, previewing more than 26 games across the Lone Star State. 26 games. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else has the courage to do that, so we will take care of that there. One team that is enjoying a week off, enjoying their bye week right now, are the Alief Taylor Lions, and they are doing so in style. They are 7-0, feeling very good. I'm stalling because Max is just having like a heart-to-heart with Coach Randle. But in any case, the Alief Taylor Lions enjoying a week off after a hard-fought start to 7-0, and most importantly, 3-0. In district play, and here to talk about his unbeaten Lions is the head coach of the Alief Taylor Lions. We are joined by Coach Brian Randle. Coach, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. How are things in beautiful Alief?
It's hot. It's Houston. It was a humid day today, but we're fighting through. We're battling. Absolutely.
And so you guys are off to a 7-0 start, and you have the, I think, unusual late bye week. Here you guys are. We're about halfway through October, and you guys are finally getting a week off after 7 consecutive weeks. What are your goals? What are you attempting to accomplish during this bye week?
Well, it was kind of planned, to be honest. Like if you go 8 weeks in, then we have 8 more weeks left to play, and that's the whole concept. That's what we're trying to get, and we're trying to instill in the children that we're planning for 16 weeks. I know that's a lofty goal, but that's what the plan was going in. So this is like a little halftime for us, and we did some yoga and doing different things for the kids that we haven't done around here in the past in a bye week, just to get their bodies back and get their legs back underneath them.
Did you say yoga?
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
So you've got, to be clear, you've got a room full of 16, 17, 18-year-old guys who are spending a lot of time in the weight room yelling and screaming and hitting each other, and they're doing yoga?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was something new, and we gave it a shot. And the boys, it was funny because it's a lot. Yoga's tough. If you haven't ever done it, it's tough. It's challenging, but it's so good for the body and just getting that stretch and getting that bend and trying to get them out of the same. Things can get just the same old grind, like the everyday grind, and we just want to kind of switch it up a little bit and throw something new at them and see how they handle it. And they actually handled it well.
That's awesome.
I can understand it. So I want to talk a little bit about your squad off to a great start, and I want to go back a couple of weeks. With all due respect to Alief Elsik, that 68-7 win is not exactly the kind of compelling talk that we're looking for. But your win over Pearland, a squad that you knew you would have to go through to win a district title, to come out with a 19-14 win over the Oilers. What did that say about your team? What does that do for your team's confidence?
Well, first off, I got to tip my hat to Tony Heath and the Pearland Oilers. They're a great football team, well coached. They've always have been, a ton of tradition. But to win and to beat up Pearland is big. It's big for the kids because now they can understand and they start believing in what we're trying to do around here.
Absolutely. And this defense, you are a defensive guy. This is your first year as a head coach, promoted from the defensive coordinator spot. Your defense has really been the shining star of this squad. You guys are really crushing people out there. Has it lived up to your expectations so far?
Yes and no. We have room to grow. And last year we had the best defense in the history of the school, in the entire school. So that's the goal. So every year we just try to take it up a notch. So this year's not any different. So the boys know that we're trying to be even stingier than we were last season. So
we're talking with Brian Randle, the head coach of the Alief Taylor Lions, here on DCTF Live, in conjunction with our friends at Atavis Rugby Tackling. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, one of the stars of your defense, big defensive tackle, Kobe Whiteside, a guy that I think before the year kind of surprisingly was not getting the kind of recruiting attention that personally I think he has deserved. As the guy, and as a defensive guy, and as a guy who watches this kid week in and week out, what can you tell us about Kobe Whiteside?
Kobe Whiteside is a grown man. He is the hardest working individual I've ever been around. The kid is a gym rat. Great kid, yes sir, no sir kid. It's hell trying to get him off the football field. Like he wants to practice every day. Like, Kobe, you're nicked up. You need to sit out. No, coach, I want to go. And he really means it. He's so genuine. Like, it's hard to get him off the field. He squats 600 pounds. He's a 405 bench press. If he was taller, I think every school in America would be on him. I think that's the only thing killing him in his height. But he reminds me of a Casey Hampton type football player.
And what strikes me about your defense, if you look up and down, it seems like you've got a lot of seniors. You've got a lot of guys who have been in this program. How important is it to have that kind of senior leadership on your defensive side?
Well, huge. Senior leadership is, in all honesty, I think is one of the reasons why we're having so much success, because the kids know and they're buying in. We went through boot camp last year, and we set the tone early last season about taking care of business and being responsible for self. And every day I let them know, this is your team. This isn't Coach Randle's team. This isn't the football coach's team. This is your team. The seniors team. It's your legacy. Take ownership and run the show.
That's exactly what I think all coaches are trying to instill, and it looks like you guys are doing it better than most. On the offensive side, really the headliner here has been your quarterback, Dante Warren, a guy who's taking care of the football, 17 touchdowns against just one interception. He's also a talented runner as well. What can you tell us about your signal caller?
Dante's a great kid. Dante's a great kid. He's responding well. We throw a lot at him. Our OCs are doing a great job with him. And he's starting to really just listen. And the biggest thing is listening and trusting your receivers and trusting what the coaches are telling you, and we'll be fine. He's growing.
Now, I'm not sure who calls the plays for you guys, but is there a play that is just called throw it up to Brennan Eagles? Because you've got a wide receiver in Brennan Eagles, just a junior, 6'4", 185 pounds, a giant out there, a mismatch, 29 catches, nearly 500 yards, 8 touchdowns already. So is there a play like that in your playbook?
Well, there's one. There's there. They got a jump ball to Eagles. You better have one. But there's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, to be honest with you. That's why I feel like this year could be very special, as long as we don't accept excuses from anybody, from coaches or players. and just getting these kids the ball and putting them in position to be successful. Because on the offensive side of the ball, you have Eagles, you got Hadel, you got Myron Smith, you got little Jesse Walker and Iman Powell. You got 5 guys that can go. They can flat out get it, and we just got to get them the ball in space and let them do what they do.
Absolutely, and you start looking at District 23, District 23 6A, where you guys reside. You guys are past Pearland, but there are still hurdles on the horizon.
Oh, yeah.
On the horizon. It is no rest for the weary. After you guys draw Hastings next week, it is back-to-back games against Pearland Dawson and George Ranch, a defending state champ. I know they're a little, they've taken a couple losses this year, but still a talented squad. When you take a look at your district, District 23 6A, from your perspective, what do you see?
An extremely difficult district, a ton of talent, and an extremely well-coached district. Mm-hmm. When you look at all the wins with Coach Diatley, Coach Wells, Coach Heath, all those guys are Lamar guys. Mm-hmm. So their success isn't anything new to them. And Tony's had a ton of success in Pearland. And then when you look at George Ranch, hell, they just won state. Mm-hmm. And Coach has done a great job with that bunch. So you just see a lot of great coaches and a lot of talent is what I see when I look at it. But you're absolutely right. Pearland Dawson is going to be a huge game. They have the number 1 offense in the district right now. We have the number 1 defense in the district, and it should be a show. We're looking forward to it. Just got to stay prayed up.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to ask you a little bit about. I want to ask you a little bit about looking ahead. You mentioned that you put your bye week specifically here because this is the midway point of a 16-game schedule, which I think is very, very smart and sends the right message. Have you taken any look ahead to your potential playoff draw? Right now, we project you guys to go to that just brutal Region 3 of the Division 1 bracket. Yeah. Has that crossed your mind at all?
Yeah, we discussed it here and there, but right now, like you said, we still have Dawson and George Ranch ahead of us. We're more concerned about them right now before we even take it to that next level. Because like I know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road.
It's going to be a tough road, but right now the Alief Taylor Lions look like they are very prepared to travel it. He is Coach Brian Randle, the head coach of the Alief Taylor Lions. Follow him on Twitter at what is it? It's Brian Randle.
Brian Randle 40.
Brian Randle 40. Yeah. Follow him on Twitter. He needs Twitter followers. Coach, appreciate.
I'm just learning that Twitter thing, guys. I just
Well, you're off to a good start. Appreciate your time, Coach. Enjoy your week off, and good luck in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
There he goes, Brian Randle, the head coach, the Alief Taylor Lions. So they will draw. They get a week off. First of all, I love that mindset.
Yeah,
16 weeks. Yeah. Why not split it in half? You're through. Yeah. You're through.
I'll say this:
the first half.
It's true, but it's gutsy in that district.
Oh my gosh,
gutsy, man.
So the thing. So here is the most amazing thing. So they're going to draw Alief Hastings next week,
yeah.
And I mean, to be real honest, Alief Hastings, I don't think is going to give them much trouble. Okay, I don't think they will.
No.
Now, you start looking at what they would have to travel to win that state championship. Okay, you want to talk about a team that will have to earn it?
Yeah.
Okay. Via our projections on TexasFootball.com, they would
those
play.
Up yet?
Not yet. They'll be up. They'll
today.
be up today.
Okay.
TexasFootball.com.
Look forward to that,
yes,
folks.
Exactly. They would have to play in order. Pearland Dawson, tough.
George Ranch.
Yep. Tough. Then they get in the playoffs. Then via our projections, they would play Dickinson.
First round?
Oh no, it gets worse. North Shore. Katy. Jeez. And then probably Ridgepoint or Lamar.
Ouch.
And then, in order. And then they'd play a semifinalist like Lake Travis or Judson.
Oh, God.
Or Westlake. Or Clemens. And then they play in a title game against probably I don't know.
The Woodlands.
Allen. The Woodlands.
Yeah.
I mean, they will absolutely, positively earn it. But right now, the way their defense is playing, they've already beaten Pearland. That's a big time win for them, and so they are flying high and a deserved week off.
There are teams that will play easier first, second, and third round games than their final 2 district games.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, you can make a real argument that to get out of their region, they will have to beat 6 of the top 10 teams in the Houston area. They're going to earn it. Thanks to Coach Brian Randle of Alief Taylor for joining us. And thank you for spending part of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Vince Young for the 222nd time. Please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow for a Friday Super Show, DCTF Live.